All right, everybody out there. So I'm coming to social media for help. I have followed the process of the court system, and I have just been attacked for years. And I have caught the judges, the lawyers, and apparently because I am not rich enough, I do not know enough people, and I've been denied representation now for 2.5 years. They have simply violated all of my civil rights. They stole my home with my property in it. None of my property has been returned to me. None of the money that was invested in the home was returned to me. And the whole time, everybody's been able to break the law. And I guess the opinion is that if I don't get public support, they all just keep doing what they're doing. And this is scary for the United States of America because this happened to me in family court. I was simply filing for an annulment, and I had just lost my son, so I was suffering greatly from PTSD. And instead of my lawyers protecting me, they drug out proceedings for 2.5 years. And in my divorce matter, they changed my judge from Kathy Hardcastle to Raina Hughes. Well, in the Linda Na matter, that was filed maybe days after she and her lawyer informed me of the notary fraud. She then files this frivolous complaint. When she files this frivolous complaint, it goes to Judge Villani without any hearings, without any due process. And after I hired counsel, Jennings and Fulton, who again conspired with Shumway Van, conspired with to drag out proceedings and to attack their own client. So after I had counsel, they then switched my judge from Judge Villani to Judge Mary Kay Holthus, in which Mary Kay Holthus proceeds to hold absolutely no hearings. And she then holds one over the phone. When she finds out over the phone that I know the law and that they're breaking the law and they're all caught, she refuses to hold a hearing. When she refuses to hold the hearing, I then file civil rights. I file an appeal because remember, I have the divorce case. It's already in appeal. So the appeals court, one group of people, 4 people who've been on the same position for 20 years, so they've probably hurt thousands of people, sat and watched this. So from 2020, when I caught the judges and my lawyers, there has been not one hearing. They rule on everything in chambers. They allow legal malpractice. They allow theft and abuse, and nobody has stopped this. So after I filed a Title 42, which is civil rights, and when you file that, it will kick out all the orders of the lower court. Well, it should. Well, the corruption in Nevada has gone up through multiple chains, all the way up to Miranda Dew, the chief judge. She knows what's been going on for 2 years and has done nothing to stop it. So they changed now from Mary Kay Holthus to then Ronald Israel. Ronald Israel holds all hearings in chambers. He looks at no evidence. He allows legal malpractice, and then he puts in a judgment for Linda Na. There was no jury. There was no hearings. There was no trial. There was no discovery. It was simply one judge, no, not one, there was 3 of them, deciding that they have enough power that they're just going to break the law. And who's going to stop them? All their buddies above them are doing the same thing. The police departments are doing the same thing. So Linda Na, please, miss me with all of your nonsense. There's not a person in this world that does not know what you're doing. There's not a mother in the state of Nevada with a child with cancer that knows to stay far away from you. So you can sit up here and pretend for as long as you want that you won this case. But as time goes on, I will get smarter. And I will get smarter, and I will get my own law degree until the day you are put in prison for what you did to me. I had just lost my son. And instead of you listening to me and canceling when I told you in writing, and I'll show you guys that too, you then conspire with Bobby behind my back to collect your commission. And when you get caught, you get him a lawyer. And when that didn't work, you go on social media and start slandering me. And when that didn't work, you just keep going. So I don't know what is mentally wrong with you or what kind of help you need to seek, but I'm going to pray that God helps you. and he gives you the help that you need. Because anybody that can inflict this kind of pain on someone for no reason to protect themselves truly, truly needs help. So Linda Na, enjoy this video. I am now going to prove on court paperwork everything I just said. And I ask you guys all to find my petition at www.change.org/arrest Raina Hughes and ensure that these people are held accountable. Because if they're not, you're going to be the next one to walk in their courtroom and they're going to do the exact same thing. And this is not something happening just in Nevada. This corruption is in Georgia. This corruption is in Florida. It is all over the United States that none of the government offices are enforcing any of the laws on their workers, that lawyers, judges, and police officers can just simply make their own biased decisions. And then they can try to ruin an honest, good person's life to protect their corruption. And, at this point, I'm not proving anything anymore. I proved my case. I won my case. And I have complete faith that God is going to intervene right when he's ready to. Until then, I'm going to keep following God. I'm going to keep loving people. I'm going to keep helping children. I am going to keep doing the right things. And I know, absolutely know in my heart that God is going to provide and protect me. So Linda, thank you for making me stronger. Thank you for making me educate myself even further. And when you finally get your time where you're going to be arrested, because you will, I hope you think about the 5 years of pain and suffering that I have gone through. And then reflect on why you're sitting in that prison. Enjoy the video, Linda Na Perdue. This is Linda Na Perdue, the realtor from hell. She has spent the last 5 years slandering me, stalking me, getting Bobby Ante lawyers, contacting my donors and supporters, and swears now that I am lying about all the corruption in the state of Nevada. Well, I am going to show you all through the court documents exactly what's happening. And I ask you guys to stand with me in demanding that this woman is arrested and she's held accountable for her crimes. In this text message to Linda Na, you can clearly see that I wanted to cancel the transaction. I told her I would seek counsel and get my earnest deposit back. I was very clear that I was done with the transaction and I would no longer be purchasing the home. This is when Linda Na decided to cut me out and to conspire with Bobby because they had already paid off thousands of dollars of his debt. And had they canceled the home, I would have then found out. In the image on the left, you can see that Linda Na clearly stated that once the loan docs go to title, that we would both have to sign the deed of the house. It was only after I canceled that she then put the house only in Bobby's name and then never spoke to me. You can see from the text message on the right that she never spoke to me and I was out of town and she said, hopefully I will sign. So she was very clear that I canceled this transaction, but it was in her best interest, in the interest of Bobby and the notary, that they would all get paid and have their lives paid off by screwing me. So Linda Na has had no problem doing this and helping Bobby attack a completely innocent woman after losing a child. On the last page of her statement, Linda Na states that I did not attend the closing and I stopped communicating with her after I canceled the sale. She then states that I and Bobby stopped communicating with the lender, but I never spoke to the lender. She then puts on the bottom of her complaint here saying that Nikki Secaucus bought, which is the notary who notarized the forged quitclaim deed and the escrow agent, a clear prohibited act, worked for Stewart Title, when she clearly did not. She worked for National Title. But Linda Na is a narcissistic liar, and she continues to try to fabricate this story any way she can. On this slide, you can see on the left that Nikki Secaucus bought, the notary and escrow agent, did not even produce her journal with the signature that she said that I signed. She failed to produce the journal, yet the Secretary of State took absolutely no action and continued to protect Nikki Secaucus bought. On the right, you will see the wire instructions. You will clearly see that this is National Title Company, and Nikki Secaucus Bott was the escrow agent. So why on earth did Linda Na lie on her statement and say that Nikki Secaucus Bott worked for Stewart Title? This is the first judge, Judge Villani, assigned to the matter when Linda Na frivolously filed this complaint. He then allowed the case to be illegally transferred out of his court without holding any hearings at all, in which I've never met any of the judges that have been attacking me. This is Judge Mary Kay Holthus, the second judge on this matter, and was transferred to her weeks after the case was filed. It was transferred right about the same time that Kathy Hardcastle transferred my case to Raina Hughes, and all this was done while I was represented by Chris Tillman, Adam Fulton, Jared Jennings, and Logan Wilson with Jennings and Fulton Law Firm. Yet the Nevada State Bar has taken no action against the lawyers or the judges. Mary Kay Holthus held 2 hearings over the phone and then recused herself and transferred the case to the next judge. This is Judge Ron Israel. He is the 3rd judge on the Perdue matter. When after I caught my attorneys, Mary Kay Holthus refused to properly litigate this matter. She refused to stop the legal malpractice of Shumway Van, and then she transferred the case to Ron Israel. Ron Israel then vacated all hearings. He then vacated all jury trials and then did a bench hearing where he awarded Linda Na $256,000 for the crimes that she committed against me, and then put in an order to go on social media and delete all the evidence that I have uploaded against them. Ronald Israel was also sued in Title 42 in Reno, Nevada, with Judge Miranda Dew. Miranda Dew dismissed the matter and allowed the corruption and the abuse to continue. Linda Na insisted that we look up the case so that you guys could all see the truth. So I printed up the Register of Actions, and I am going to go through it and explain to you exactly what happened so that you all know the monster that Linda Na Perdue is and you stay far away from her. This is the first page of the Register of Actions. You can see this case was filed in December 17th of 2018. Right after I was informed of the notary fraud from Linda Na and her attorney, Garrett Chase, through their respondent docs, in which the statement you had just read was part of. You can also see that Bobby Ante was her co-defendant. Yet Shumway Van and Garrett Chase represented both Bobby and Linda through both matters and are still representing both clients. And the Nevada State Bar has done absolutely nothing to stop the corruption. This is page 2 of the Register of Actions. You can see again the case was filed 12/17/2018 after Linda Na and Shumway Van informed me of the notary fraud of Nikki Secaucus Bott. I then had to retain counsel, in which I found Jennings and Fulton, and once I found Jennings and Fulton, Shumway Van and Jennings and Fulton began conspiring together and then reassigned my case from Judge Villani to Judge Holthus. Jennings and Fulton never informed me that the original judge was Judge Villani. They simply let Mary Kay Holthus take over the case, collected $5,000 as a retainer, and did absolutely nothing to defend me. You can see on July 3rd, 2019, I demanded a jury trial. And then you can see in April 8th of 2020, at the bottom of this page, that my attorneys then withdrew as my counsel after they had already ambushed the trial from the divorce hearing. They then withdrew as my attorneys from record and allowed Garrett Chase and Shumway Van to continue to attack me, as well as Mary Kay Holthus did nothing to stop any of it. After learning of the legal malpractice of Jennings and Fulton, Chris Tillman, and Shumway Van, I was then forced to start representing myself. And in doing so, Mary Kay Holthus simply ignored my evidence, held all hearings over the phone, ruled in chambers, and began threatening me through sanctions and refusing my right to be heard. You can see in July of 2020, I filed a motion to consolidate all cases because Jennings and Fulton had filed 2 separate cases when all parties should be listed on the complaint. Yet the Mary Kay Holthus failed to allow me to amend the complaint and allowed the legal malpractice to keep going on. This is page 4 of the Register of Actions. Notice, no matter what was filed, it was never a hearing held. So you can see that she denied the motion to leave. And then on the bottom, when there was a hearing to be held, she strikes the motion and dismisses it and cancels the hearings. I have never met Mary Kay Holthus. I have never been in her courtroom. And when I caught her trying to protect Garrett Chase, Shumway Van, ERA Brokers, and Linda Na, she then refused to correct anything that she put in and then ignored the Title 42 complaint filed against her. From looking at the Register of Actions, you can see how many times I filed into the case with very clear evidence of fraud. Yet Mary Kay Holthus took no steps to protect me and continued to cancel all the hearings, vacate the hearings, deny any motion that I filed, and then vacate my jury trial. I then filed a motion for summary judgment in which she again denied, even though I won the motion for summary judgment. You can see at the bottom, on November 4th, 2020, now 2 years after this case was filed and over a year after catching the legal malpractice of the attorneys and the switching of the judges, they then canceled the pre-trial calendar call. And this is how this has gone the entire 2.5 years. If you look at the upper left-hand slide, you will see that there was a jury trial set. Yet it was canceled by Mary Kay Holthus after learning of very clear notary fraud, misrepresentation, and conspiracy. She then canceled the jury trial and my motion for summary judgment, even though she had more than adequate evidence, including a forensic board and court certified handwriting expert, and the contradictory stories of Linda Na in her statement and in her testimony in family court, where she perjured herself over and over again. All of this information was given to Mary Kay Holthus, in which she ignored all of it. You will see then on February 11th, 2021, a motion to dismiss that the judge was again changed now to Ronald Israel, and in which Ronald Israel, again, when you see that 3 a.m., it means there was never a hearing that anybody could attend, that he did all motions and all orders in chambers. He did not give me the right to be heard. He did not give me right to due process, and he did absolutely nothing to stop the legal malpractice of Garrett Chase. On the top of the right slide, you'll see on April 13, 2021, there was supposed to be a pre-trial calendar call, again vacated by Ronald Israel and reset. He then reset the order for a jury trial and then canceled on 4/19 the jury trial and vacated it. And he again did this without any hearings. I then again filed a motion for him to reconsider, in which he then in chambers denied the motion and ignored all the evidence and began to protect Linda Na and her attorneys, Shumway Van and broker Jeff Moore with ERA Brokers. If you notice, on October 5th, 2021, Ron Israel then does a bench trial where he alone decides the case with no jury, no evidence, no hearings, and no discovery, and knowing that Linda Na committed a crime. You can then see on 8/23/2022 a pre-trial calendar call that again Ronald Israel vacated, even after being served with Title 42 violations complaints. He again cancels the jury trial, and you can see there on September 6th that it was vacated per the judge. So a judge that never met me, never held a hearing, and didn't follow any part of the law, then decided to award Linda Na $256,000 and put in an order to delete all evidence I have posted about them. So Linda Na did not win this case at all. The judges are corrupt, and there's now 29 judges involved in this 2-month marriage, and they're all breaking the law. This is a page from my case appeal statement submitted to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court was very aware of the judicial misconduct, the abuse that I was suffering, the legal malpractice, the failure of my right to be heard, the failure of me being given a jury trial and due process. yet they took absolutely no action. And instead of arresting the criminals, they all began to attack the victim. I encourage you all to look up every case number. And as I just showed you with the Register of Actions of Lyndon Perdue's case, there are no hearings, there is no due process, and the orders are fake. And yes, 29 judges are corrupt. And until we stand together as a community, it's never going to stop. And today, it's me and my case, but tomorrow, if they're still there, it's you and your case. Join me in signing the petition and demanding that Lyndon Perdue is arrested. On the right, you will see a text message from Lyndon Perdue going to one of the people who support me and clearly know what she has done. Lyndon then denies again what she has done, even though all of this evidence has been all over social media for years, and Bobby Ante admitted that he committed the crime. She has the audacity to continue to slander and bash me. This woman needs to be held accountable, and the justice system needs to operate equally. Please stand with me in demanding that Lyndon is arrested and everyone involved in this matter is held accountable.